In this lesson, we're going to block out the torso of our low polygon game character. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our front view, and we can hit F on the keyboard to do that. I'm also going to hit G to turn off that grid. Now let's go to our Create panel and create a box. And what I want to do is start right here at the center of the clavicle, right above the pectoral muscles here, and just click and drag a box in here. Let's go down to the waist. Right? Now make sure that you are paying attention to the height here, because you'll notice as we move our mouse up and down, that height number is still changing. So we need to make sure that we click one more time to create that box. Now whenever we right click, that box should stay there. Right? Now let's go ahead and turn on our edge faces. We can do this by hitting F4 on the keyboard. Okay, you'll see edge faces is turned on here. Right? Now we could add in some segments here, and we're going to need segments going across our geometry, so let's add in those length segments. And let's do 4 for right now. And then let's go ahead and switch to our perspective view by hitting P on the keyboard. And let's add in some width segments here. So I'm going to do, or I'm sorry, let's do height segments. And I'm going to do just one height segment for right now. Now let's go ahead and go back to our front view. And what I like to do is kind of even out these numbers. I don't like decimals all that much. So I'm going to go to 24. And on my width, I'm going to go to 10. And then on my height, let's just go to 14. Okay. Now this will change, but I like to just kind of keep everything nice and even as I go. Let's convert this over to an editable poly. And let's switch to vertex mode here. Now I'm going to hit Alt and X on the keyboard to go to see-through mode. And that will allow me to see my reference image. So let's go ahead and start to shape this up in our front view. And then what we'll do is we'll go to our left view and begin to shape it up there. So I'm going to bring this right above the clavicle here, just kind of creating the shape of that pectoral muscle here. And I could follow along with this geometry right here at this point. And I think I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to bring this right out to the edge of the rib cage here. And this character is pretty massive. It's very, very stout for a character. And let's go ahead and just bring this down here. Bring that up. And we're just kind of following along as if the body is right there underneath the belt there. All right, now let's go to our left view. And let's line this up. Okay. Let's kind of center this up the best that we can here. And then we're going to switch back to vertex mode, just hitting 1 on the keyboard if you don't know that keyboard shortcut. And let's begin to move these points around. So this is going to be the bottom of the character here. So let's just push this forward. Get this to match up the best that we can. So let's grab these two. Pull this forward right here out to the edge of the belt. Maybe a little bit inside. Center this up a little bit more. And let's grab this row. Pull that forward. Right to the edge of the belt right here. And let's grab this along the back. And we'll leave that one right where it's at for now. Let's grab these two and pull those forward. Do the same thing here. Just trying to match up to the chest. And then I'm going to pull these back. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go and grab these two. Let's pull these back here. Match that up. Same thing here. Make sure we grab both of those. Now, this is going to be just blocking it in. We're not trying to get exact detail or anything like that. Okay. Now let's grab these polygons right here on the outside. Okay, just so you can see that. And let's scale these in the Y direction. All right. And then I'm going to take my edge mode. I'm going to grab just the corners. And if it helps, I'm going to hit Alt and X so that you can see this. And hit W to create or grab my move tool. And let's just push that in. And what that's doing is rounding out the body here. Okay. If it helps, you can actually go to hold down Control and go to vertex mode and scale those apart if that's a little too thin there. And I think it was just a little too thin. Okay. Now the reason that I went to vertex mode is because sometimes in edge mode it doesn't actually scale from the middle. Alright, so that's looking really good for now, just the blocking stage. And now we're ready to come in here and start add just a little bit more detail. So let's switch to our front view and let's hit Alt and X. And what I want to do is make sure that my geometry or my topology is actually following along some of the natural curves of the character, some of the natural points. So this is the bottom of the pectoral muscle, so we should have a segment right above this that's going to make that protrude out just a little bit more. So I'm going to go to Edge Mode and select just this edge. I'm going to hold down Shift and select another edge in that ring. And that should select that entire ring. Let's hit Connect, and that'll give us another segment. Now with Connect, what we can do is actually slide this along the edges that we had selected before. So I'm going to go right up to about here, and I'm going to hit OK. Now what I can do is go to my left view, and I can go to Vertex Mode and start to push these vertices around a little bit more. Okay, just get a little bit more shape out of it. Okay. Grab these points, and let's make sure that we use all the points that we put in. Okay, so if it's not really adding to any of the geometry, it's really taking away from your polygon count. So that's something that you should always remember when working with low polygon characters. Okay, if it's not adding to the geometry, it's taking away from the model. Okay, now we've added in just a little bit for the pectoral muscles. We can make those protrude out a little bit more, but we're really not to that point where we want to start creating any fine detail. We just want to block it out, make sure that the major shape is there, and then start to move on to different parts. Okay, so let's take a look. I really want to get that rib cage really pronounced here, because this is the bottom of the pectoral muscles, and we want that rib cage to really show itself here. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in just a little bit, and let's go to Edge Mode, and let's do a connect on this, and I'll hit OK. I'm going to go to Vertex Mode and just try to shape this out a little bit more. And let's just bring that straight up in the Y there. Alright. Now let's go ahead and pull this vert up here to the pectoral muscle. And these points are going to follow as well. Okay. Might pull that back there. That was the back. Didn't really want to move that too much. Okay, so here you can start to see the pectoral muscle is beginning to shape up here. Pull these down a little bit more, get a little bit more shape out of this. So what we're trying to do, trying to achieve is a strong silhouette. Okay. All right, so we've blocked in the torso, and now we're ready to block in the arms themselves. Okay, now the arms are going to be a little tricky, because what we want to do is make sure that we have good topology coming off of the chest into the shoulders, and the shoulders are a very crucial area for animation. They can be very tricky simply because they have so many axes for movement. Okay, so in our next lesson we're going to take a look at what we can do to create good topology for the shoulder, and then we'll start to build out the arm. So I'll see you then.